that can really accelerate that is to take your shoes off and put them barefoot, even if you sit, put them barefoot on the earth, because the earth vibration is turned up because the electromagnetic field, that's the polar shift that we're feeling. And the symptoms are the same as toxic symptoms, which is dizziness, forgetting things, spaced out thinking, all sorts of symptoms cause our electric. The way it works is, in electricity 101, you have a big ball of negative and you have a small ball of positive. And if you touch those together, the negative one is going to fill up the positive one. The positive is going to go into the negative, and so you're going to have two negatively charged balls. So the planet Earth is the ball. We are the small ball. Pollution for us is positively charged. So we walk around collecting all this positive charge through all the stuff that we're dealing with electrically, and cell phones and towers and all that. So one way to handle that is you have 130 receptors on the bottom of your feet just to plug into the planet. Isn't that cool? Mm-hmm. So you just put your feet at least 20 minutes on the planet every day, and then your positive trash goes into the negative and transcends into a negative charge. So then you're all cleared out of all the electromagnetic pollution. Because otherwise, again, that can make us wacky, because if the electrical system is gone sparky, it can fragment anywhere. So we want to be focused and centered beings. Well, how can we if our electrical system has just been splashed on or whatever? So that's something to consider. It's called earthing, but it's basically going barefoot. If you live in a situation where you can't go barefoot, you take an alligator clip, you clip it onto a duct tape mat, like you just crisscross duct tape, make a mat out of it, put it under your mattress, take the alligator clip, run a copper wire to a grounding post in the earth. You can go all the way 27 floors if you need to, or just out the window, and that is almost the cure for sleeplessness. So, but there's a lot of other things that are to deal with sleeplessness too, but that's a good place to start. So the people that have done it, and every building has a copper grounding on it, which if you can find that, that's just a shortcut. You don't have to put a post in the earth. But the easiest for me is just going barefoot. Mm-hmm. But if you can't because you live in a concrete jungle, then you can't. So I'm going to go ahead and go into cleansing and detoxification. So really, we got to keep up with this stuff. As the pollution comes in, our bodies are made to deal with it, but it's all blocked because it's too much. Just too much. So we're just wilting, like a wilting on the vine, and that's no fun to be when we want to expand. Mm-hmm. So Maureen here can explain a little bit about bowel cleansing, because she has this wonderful practice. And here's the brochures that she offers people. She really educates you about how the colon is where health starts, and it also is where disease starts. And also your immune system. You keep your immune system strong, your colon clean, which is hard to do because it is trying to put all this garbage out of us. So again, it's not about depriving you of anything. It's about just replacing it, and that will go away. So you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the colon, or you?
Sure.
Okay.
I talk about the colon all day long.
Yeah, she really likes it a lot.
I do. Well,
you want to go ahead and record? Yeah, I'm going to switch this over to you if that's okay. And you can sit here if you want. Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. I would put some makeup on. I look pretty like Crystal. You look so beautiful tonight. I've never seen you in makeup.
Oh, it happens extremely rarely.
Oh, you do. You look lovely. I've certainly not ever done this before, but what I do is I help my clients. I help them get from every bite that they eat, right? Everything that you eat, to get it from one end to the other, timely, right? Not too fast, not too slow, and absorbing the nutrients along the way. What happens with so many of us due to our diet and lifestyle is that we have impaired digestion. So even with the best of intention of eating all of the best foods, all the most organic and as expensive as you can get or whatever, even our beautiful gardens where we grow our own foods, if our gut's not working well, we're not absorbing the nutrients that we're putting in there. So what I do in a nutshell is I help you move food through and absorb the nutrients along the way. And I also help you determine what nutrients you might be depleted in. And I do that based on how you're feeling, right? Symptoms that are occurring in your life, right? For instance, let's say somebody is suffering with anxiety, right? Instead of going on an anti-anxiety med, is it possible that if you replete yourself with magnesium, it's just an example, and it's a mineral, but if you replete yourself with magnesium, the anxiety goes away. So then you don't have to take the medication for the anxiety that causes other problems, right? Most of the time when we're on a medication, it causes digestive issues, right? One of the biggest common complaints that I get is the meds make me constipated or they give me diarrhea. Either one of those is impairing your absorption of nutrients, right? And our bodies need nutrient for optimal function. Now we can get by. As a society, we get by with a lot, right? We get by with not feeling good, right? And once we get to feeling really bad, we become desperate and we search for the magic pill, right? And I don't have a magic pill to sell, right? The stuff that I sell mostly are free lifestyle issues, much like what you were talking about, getting a good night's sleep, drinking water, right? Those are both free things to do and the most important things for your health. And yet we will spend, when we're diagnosed with cancer, we're diagnosed with a debilitating disease, we would give up everything we own, every nickel we've got or will ever have to get our health back, right? You get that C word, you'll do anything, right? Get that point of desperation. And that's when you can start making changes in your life, is when you become motivated enough to do that. So most of the time when I see clients, it's usually because they're pretty sick, and they're sick and tired of feeling like shit, and so they come and see me. And I work with them on feeling better with natural therapeutics. Most of them are free. The most important ones are free. Right? I don't do this for the money. I do this because I'd like to make a change in people's lives and help them feel better. Because my philosophy on what I do is that if people feel better, one, they treat themselves better, they treat other people better, and it becomes a better world for all of us to live in. And I feel like that's my purpose on this planet, is to make it better than when I found it, in maybe some odd way. How I got started in the colonic business is my mother was diagnosed with colon cancer, and she didn't live very long after that, and it was such an unnecessary, right? She had suffered long-term constipation and ignored it, frankly, just ignored it and ignored it and ignored it. Until eventually the colon becomes so diseased that there's no turning back, right? So I became inspired, along with a lot of other things, but this was where I really got into colonics. I became inspired to help people not have that problem, right? If you keep, the theory is, you keep the colon clean and you'll maintain health. What happens in the colon is it's about 5 feet long. Most people don't realize it is as long as it is you are tall. And that's a long way for that feces to move through, right? And our colons are not just this perfect little tube. They move and fluctuate and have little bulges here and bulges there. And so imagine stuff gets collected along the way in the colon, right? When it stays in the colon, when food stays in there, it rots. And it rots just like it does in your refrigerator. We've all rotted food before and had to throw it away. Well, that's what's happening in the colon. And when that happens, it creates a gas. The gas is thus then absorbed into the bloodstream, and those toxins then become, once in the blood, become systemic throughout the entire body, setting you up for disease.